The Boston area can look forward to a musical feast of Russian classics starting May 20th. The second annual International Rachmaninoff Russian Festival will have a series of performances. The opening work is an opera by Tchaikovsky that's rarely performed in Boston, with production of the festival and the Boston Vocal Arts Studio. And joining us from the Vocal Arts Studio are the Executive Director, Olga Lisovskaya, and the Artistic Director, Alexander Prokhorov. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I want to start with Alexander. This is not just a performance, this is a whole vision about what you hope to do here with this company in Boston.
That's right. It was my dream for the last, I think, 15 years to make a company, small company, which will provide Russian repertoire. And I feel like it's a mission for me to bring masterpieces of Rachmaninoff, Tchaikovsky, Glinka, which we don't have a chance to see and hear very often. And some of them, it's going to be a really, it's going to be first time when we could see it here in America. So, yeah, it's a big, big day.
Actually, since 1970s, there have been only 3 or 4 major productions in Boston of Russian repertoire, and the last one in March was by Lowell House, the Snow Maiden, and we were amazed at the interest that Boston audiences showed for this production.
And we had, of course, some more opera last year, probably the most famous opera by Tchaikovsky, Evgeny Onegin. Talk about the one that you're performing starting on the 20th. Not very familiar here. It's called Iolanta.
Iolanta. It's one of the most beautiful pieces I've ever heard. I love Tchaikovsky. It has something that touches your heart. The music just, it fills your soul. It's so beautiful and so innocent. The story is lovely. It's full of love, full of joy, full of you are in awe of creation, God's creation, and such innocence and purity and joy is in the music, is in the story. I don't want to give out the story because it's very interesting to follow the plot as it happens on stage. And the story is the opera is it's a 1-act opera. It's only an hour and a half, but it's a full-size opera, and it's truly a joy to hear and see.
Yeah. Alexander, I only saw this opera once on YouTube, and it's sort of a fairy tale, but in Tchaikovsky you get these almost very realistic portrayals of human emotions when they're going through some upheavals here.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it is a fairy tale, but every human being hopes that something like this can happen in their lives, that a miracle like that of a love bringing healing and bringing miracle in a person's life. So the audience is going to be thrilled to see this kind of miracle happen right before their eyes.
I was pleasantly surprised because when I heard some of this music, I said, "This is great. Why don't we hear this more often?" And it did sound a little bit like some things, especially in Evgeny Onegin, a little bit like the letter scene in one part of this opera.
Absolutely. It's correct. Yeah. It's very recognizable. So you can hear a little bit, and they will say it's totally Tchaikovsky. And at the same time, there is some special moments in the music when you can feel the Tchaikovsky. It's a last piece that Tchaikovsky wrote.
2 years before he died, right?
Yeah. So there is some, for me, unexpected moments, and some really thrilling moments when it puts you to tears, really. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter how much time I listen some places, it put me to tears and goosebumps. So I never feel anything like with the Tchaikovsky.
It's amazing how many great pieces, hits, are in a 1-act opera. I mean, the King's aria is very recognizable in Iolanta's aria, and probably one of the most famous is Robert's aria, and it's full of pathos, full of passion, and it's incredible. 3 hits in a short opera.
Talk about some of the performers, Olga, who are going to be taking part in this.
With pleasure. Why don't you tell us about Dina Kuznetsova, since you are such good friends with her?
Yes, actually, it started with Dina, my old friends. I know her since 14, and at that time we played piano. We played piano, and we were graduated from Moscow Conservatory Academy, and after that she left for United States, and we met again here. So, but we always were in touch. So, and I asked her. She got a great career here. She had a chance to sing with Cecilia Bartoli and Dmitry Khvorostovsky and Daniel Barenboim. So she worked with the top artists here and singers.
She's performed with the Met. She's performed with Vienna State Opera House, Chicago Lyric, Covent Garden, you name it. She's done that. She's truly a star.
And I had feelings that she could be the best Iolanta, and I don't think she would have a chance very soon to sing something like that. She's really busy, and I asked her, tell me the date when you could do that, and she said probably in May, and we set the date and we start to build this project.
By the way, is this going to be in the original Russian with some subtitles, or how do you arrange this?
Yes.
Yes, it's going to be in the original Russian with super titles, and it's going to be in the original because the Soviet times saw rework of the original, because during the Soviet times you could not mention God or angels or anything that had to do with religion, so they changed everything completely, and for many years, for probably 80 years, it was performed with different words put in there, and so we're going back to the original. And we have both Russian speakers and American singers on this production, and they're doing fantastic. They're working really hard, and when they are speaking the text, when they're singing, you could hardly hear or not even hear an accent. For example, Adam Klein, our tenor, who we're so thrilled to have on board, he contacted us. We posted an advertisement for auditions, and he contacted us, and right now he's finishing or just finished the run of Wagner's Rheingold at the Metropolitan Opera. And when we heard his voice and we heard him sing in Russian, we just knew we had to audition this person. And Sasha went personally to New York.
Yeah, to meet him and to hear him, and just a couple of phrases, and I was I was
right away.
Yeah.
Talk about where this is going to be performed, Olga. This is close to where a lot of the immigrants from Russia and other parts of the former Soviet Union are now living in Boston.
Brighton, right. Brighton, like Brighton Beach in New York.
That's right, Brighton without the beach.
Exactly, Brighton in Boston, for some reason, is also a central place for Russian. When we say Russian, we mean everybody from the former Soviet Union, Ukrainians, Georgians, Belarusians, you name it. And Brighton has a few cultural centers, and this particular one is centered in a synagogue, Bnei Moshe, it's on Commonwealth Avenue, 1845 Commonwealth Avenue, and it has a beautiful hall that seats 800 people, so it's quite a good size. And acoustically, Sasha and I mean Alexander, I call him Sasha, we really like this hall because before it used to be
Sanctuary.
Yeah, a sanctuary. It used to be used for religious ceremonies, and therefore the hall was specially built for the cantor's voice to fill the hall.
No microphones.
No microphones, no amplifications, so it has to be live voice, but it has to be well projected and a good, well-trained voice. And so when our singers, for example, Elias Notus, the bass, came to audition, we were looking for almost 2 months for the bass, for the part of King Rene, because it has to be true bass, but it has this enormous range from really low notes to really high notes. We couldn't find that. We heard so many people.
Very quickly, we have to say when and where. Well, you said where, but exactly what time these two performances are happening?
May 20th at 5 p.m., that's Sunday, and May 22nd at 8 p.m.
And you've got a website, right, for more information?
www.russianmusicfest.ru.
Right, thank you both very much, Olga Lisovskaya and Alexander Prokhorov. Up ahead, the Boston finalists in a national poetry slam. But first, this message.